So, hello everybody. Welcome to our webinar. Today we're kicking off a series of short webinars where we will be introducing you to Phi and its main features and functionalities, and we'll be going through some design examples. But most importantly, we want to hear from you, any questions you may have, anything you may need help with, any difficulties you have faced, and just to be, available and around to help out with everything. So, as I said, today is the first one, so be a little patient if any glitches happen, but I hope that everything will go fine. So, So my name is Stefanos. I'm one of the founders of Phenometry. We have built Phi. As you know, Phi is a browser-based modeling application that specializes, let's say, on handling freeform surfaces. So we think that we have found a solution for dealing with these surfaces in a faster and more convenient way. And Phi is also integrated with Onshape, a great platform for CAD design, also cloud-based. And so we also take advantage of this great collaboration, and you can combine the power of Phi and Onshape to enhance your design work. So today it will be kind of basic. So I really want to cover the basics, how you get started using Phi, what the main way of interacting with Phi and with your model is. I will go over the entire interface, focusing mostly on, as I said, basic interactions and viewing options that you have. And I will also point out some ways in which you can reach out to us, but also find a lot of help on the application itself, on our interface. And again, very importantly, any questions you may have, just shoot them in the chat, or you can also reach us at our support email, which I will also point out on our interface. So let me start by, as I said, mentioning how you can run Phi. So you can run Phi through Onshape. So if you have an Onshape account, you log into your account, you open an Onshape document, and then you can run Phi from within the document. And I will show this in a moment. Or you can run Phi independently, directly within any browser tab. All you need to do is to go to app.phi3d.com. You will see this page here where you can either register for an account, enter an email address and a password, and just go. Or even through this interface, through this standalone interface, you can still use your Onshape credentials if you have them. So you click on login with Onshape, and then you enter your Onshape account credentials, and we authenticate you behind the scenes, and you can run Phi within this environment, but have full access to your Onshape documents, all of the work you have already done, and you can export your models directly within your Onshape documents, etc. So it's a very convenient way. And also, as you may know, you can run Phi on a tablet, on a portable device. Again, the process is the same. You will open a browser and navigate to this address. You run Phi, and you can also bookmark it. So next time you want to run it, it will be an icon on your mobile device's desktop. You just click on that, and you're good to go. So now let me go back to the Onshape option. Give me just 1 second to find my Onshape window. Okay, I'll start a new one, that's fine. So what I'm doing now is I'm signing into my Onshape account with my credentials. Here we are. So if any of you are Onshape users already, which I hope you are, because it's a great CAD platform. You will be familiar with what you're seeing here. It's a list of my documents. I will select one that I just created earlier today for the purposes of this webinar. And it's my standard fresh Onshape document. So first thing I want to do now is to run Phi. So if you haven't already actually obtained a trial version of Phi, you navigate to the Onshape App Store and you will find Phi within the Design and Documentation tab. Here it is. And you just click for the free plan. And that gives you immediately a 30-day free trial. No credit card is required or anything like that. You can use Phi for 30 days with its full capabilities. And then if you're satisfied, you can extend your license. So in this case, I have already done this. So once you have subscribed to Phi, you should be able to find it within the plus sign menu. So I click here, and in Applications, you see here Phi. And I will run it now. One note, because many people get confused, after you have subscribed to any application actually on the Onshape App Store, not just Phi, you would need to log out and log in to your Onshape account just to, let's say, refresh the items that are available in the plus sign menu. So many people get confused and they ask, I just subscribed but I cannot find it, what's going on? And all we need to do is log out and then log back in. So now Phi has just opened in a new tab. You see it at the bottom of my Onshape document. And this is our interface. This is the Phi interface. The first thing that will come up for you is this little pop-up screen here that invites you to take a tour around Phi and learn how to use it. So if I click on that, I get this side window opened, and we see here we have some short videos for you, a quick tour and some design examples to get you started. Next to it we have a list of our complete tutorials, and in fact in this series of webinars we'll be following roughly this let's say sequence of learning units. And the third tab you will see here offers some more help, so you can either click on the first icon to take you to our static website where you will find many examples and tutorials and case studies. So let me just open it for a moment for you here. So if you click on Learn, there's a bunch of videos here, and they're organized in different categories. So there's Getting Started, which are probably better to get you going, then some example cases, full designs, specific help on various tools that you will find in the application, etc. So, and you can also shoot us a message or even directly book a free call. We're always available to chat with anybody who needs help. And you can close this little window through the eye icon on the top right. So this opens and closes this window. So at this point, I'm ready to start doing some work. So I will hit the refresh icon because I accidentally closed the model that I was about to open. And I can start by selecting either one of these simple bodies that we have prepared, or I can load something that I have already stored within my Onshape account, but I have nothing now. Or I can load something that I have stored in a file on my file system. So for the purposes of this quick introduction, I'll just start with a simple cube. I can choose the units I want to use and the initial dimensions for it. I will leave it at 1 centimeter side, and I can give it a name, so I will just call this cube. So once this has loaded, I'm ready to start interacting with it. First of all, a note, you will notice that down here we got a new tab called cube.phi. So this is the current version of my work, of my model, and it's automatically saved for me in a new tab. And as I will be doing work, it will be auto-saved constantly within my Onshape document. So I always have access to my work, even if I accidentally close my window or anything like that. Now, the very simplest way to interact with your model is through some sort of push and pull gesture. So for example, I can click on this vertex and move it around. Or I can click on this edge anywhere and deform it. And as I deform the edges or move my vertices, you notice that the surfaces interactively also deform to assume whatever shape is more natural for this new position of my vertices or the new deformation of my edges. So that's the simplest way you can interact with your body. Now you will notice that I'm able to rotate, of course. This is with a right click and move your mouse. I can zoom in and out. You can use your mouse wheel or your standard zoom gesture, depending on what I'm currently using a touchpad, so I just slide 2 fingers up and down. And you can also pan by hitting the control key and moving around your mouse on the screen. There's also let me go through the entire layout of our interface. So at the bottom of the screen, there's a bunch of, let's say, visualization options, and I will go through them one by one. At the top, we have all of our tools that allow us to do our design work. And on the left, we have some controls, for example, undo, redo, refresh, as I just did earlier. And also some buttons for saving, exporting, importing, etc. And we will also cover this a little later. Also, before I start going over the interface, at the bottom left you will notice 3 little icons. The first one is a light bulb. So if you click on it, it will open a new window on our board where you can suggest some features that you think are useful or currently missing or would make your life easier. And we take note of that, and there's plenty of suggestions and discussions, and we try to prioritize them and incorporate them in upcoming versions of Phi. The next is a little envelope. So this is a way to directly contact us, especially if something goes wrong. So for example, if you get some weird error message, hopefully this is not happening very frequently. But anyway, if something like that happens, you click on this little envelope and it will open a new email directed to us, and it will also attach a file that is automatically downloaded from the application that contains some debugging information, which we can then look at and understand what happened, and maybe offer you some suggestions on how to avoid that. And the last one, the little heart, is just another way to open this side window that I just discussed earlier. So let's have a look at the lower side of the interface. First of all, any object that we work with consists basically of 3 elements: vertices, edges, and faces. And you can select either of those by clicking on them. So I can click on an edge, a face, or a vertex. You can box select them. So I hold my mouse pressed and I move it, and anything that comes within the box is being selected. You can also select them with what we call a brush select. So as I hover my mouse, I keep the B button pressed, and anything I hover over is selected as if I'm painting it with a selection brush, let's say. By the way, you deselect by clicking anywhere on free space, like I did, or hitting the escape key. And also there's a couple of more, let's say, elaborate ways of selecting. For example, if I shift click on any part of a body, I select the entire body. Now in this case I only have one body, but if I had more than one, I would be able to just select the entire one body. And finally, one more thing, if I have, let me do a couple of pop-outs, we'll talk about this later. If I have an array of edges, I can select each one of them by clicking on it, as I just did, and I also did a smoothing here. or I can shift click on one and it will select the entire chain, just as you saw here. And also if I have a longer chain, but I only want to select a part of it, so I have added some vertices here, I can select one edge, then another one, and if I shift click between the two, I will be selecting the chain of edges that is bound by my two initially selected edges. So that's a faster way to select stuff on the screen. Now, having said all of this, let's have a look at the lower part of the screen. So first of all, there's three buttons here, and the first one is to hide or show my vertices. So now I hid them. The second one is about edges, so I can hide or show my edges. And the third one has to do with the faces. So now all of my faces are hidden. There's a couple of variations here. So if I select some of my faces and hit the hide button, only the selected ones were deleted. Sorry, hidden. They're still there. Here they are. And conversely, if I shift click on this button, I keep the selected ones and everything else is deleted. So again, I meant hidden, not deleted. So that's a way to help me visualize my object from angles that would not be very easy to look at. Now, before I proceed further, you will have noticed that whenever I place my mouse over a button, like here, or even more so the tools that are at the top row of icons, I get a little pop-up window that gives me a quick description of this functionality, a short video, a few seconds that can remind me of its usage, the shortcuts that I can use to work faster instead of clicking on the actual icon, and then there's a read more button that will open a larger window with much more information. So there's we chose to put all the information we could as close to the user and the user interface as possible, so you have all of this available here. Now, when you will get familiar with the interface and you will not need to be reminded of this all the time, it might start getting a little annoying to get these little windows pop up here and there. So what you could do then is you will notice that there is a settings button here, and if I press it, the first options that I have, so the first one has to do with the labels that are displayed below each button, and I can hide them just to keep my interface a little cleaner if I want. And the third one is about the tooltips. So if I unselect this and close my window, now I don't get my tooltips to appear anymore. And this little annoyance is out of my way. So back to the bottom of the screen. Again, I am now showing everything, all of my vertices, edges, and faces. Now, the next three icons are about rotating the view orthogonally. So now I'm looking down the x direction, and if I click again the opposite x-axis, y and opposite y, and z and opposite z. And in fact, I will skip some icons just to show here. This icon displays a set of orthogonal planes, my front, side, and top. So again, now you can see more clearly the change of viewpoints. And the planes are also responsive. So if I click on my top plane, again, I get a switch. Or if I'm looking at my object obliquely and I hit the side, it will switch me to the side view and flip it again. Now, the next icon I was going to talk to is this little magnifying glass, which basically simply brings everything into view and centers it. And also, if a specific viewpoint, view direction is of interest, like for example here, I can use this icon here to store it. So I can store a new viewport. I can call it, for example, view 1, submit it. And then later on, if I am rotated, for instance, I can click on it and it will switch back to exactly that viewport. Sometimes it's convenient to have a specific angle that you look at your body from in order to maybe compare something or make sure that things are aligned correctly. Now, except of rotating and hitting the X, Y, or Z direction, you could select any face, even if it's not flat or oblique, and then with this next icon here, it will rotate the viewpoint so that you're looking perpendicular to this face. And if it's not a flat face, like in this case here, it will try to calculate a average perpendicular direction and switch your view down there. And the next one is to lock the rotation. So currently I can freely rotate around by moving my mouse around the center of the screen. If I lock my rotation axis, then I have a horizontal rotation, and in fact at the top right I get a little indication saying that this is a locked horizontal or a locked vertical rotation, depending on the movement of the mouse. So this is convenient when, for example, you want to inspect your object, but make sure that you're always holding it horizontal within your screen or something like that. And by the way, I should point out this little yellow ball that you see next under each icon. When the yellow ball is on, it means that this specific icon has been selected. So now I will deselect it. So we spoke about locking, storing viewpoints and returning to them. We spoke about bringing up coordinate axes. I will hide them. Then the next button, it will bring up a shadow plane. This is just a visualization option. It doesn't really allow you to do something more. But we thought that sometimes when bodies are a little complicated, having a shadow displayed can help give a better understanding of the 3D volumes of your body. Yeah. Next to it, we have an icon that allows us to display curvature combs for our edges. There will be a much bigger discussion about smoothness and curvature in a later webinar, but just to cover this now, for whichever edge I select, I can display a curvature comb. In fact, I can do it simultaneously for many edges. And so now I have two curvature combs. And as you saw, it interactively updates. And above it, there is another icon that allows me to select how many combs I want and also the scale of the combs. Sorry, I deselected this, so let me repeat it. Okay, so now I have selected 200 combs and I will scale them like this. And then they interactively update as I work with my object. Then next to it, we have a grid functionality. So a grid is displayed in either on the X, Y, or Z planes. In fact, X, Y, Y, Z, or X, Z planes. And when you switch to another view, the grid will also regenerate to accommodate this view. And when you're in grid mode, first of all, you can specify the spacing of your grid, how dense it's going to be. And then when you move objects like vertices, for example, they will snap on the grid, as you saw there. There's also a section view functionality, which is the icon I just clicked on. So a box is displayed, and then I can push the edges, the faces of this box, and it will cut through my object. So I can have a section view inside the model I'm creating. That can sometimes be very useful if you want to inspect some parts of it. And if I click on the button that is right above from it, the box itself is removed. However, its effect remains, so I'm still in section view, and I can also interactively work with my model. So while being in section view, I can deform my edges, I can do all the work I want, and then I can bring back the section box and move it as well. And the last icon is for displaying coordinates of my vertices. So I can select some vertices and I get the coordinates of the selected ones. I will hide this again. So I went over basically the main options we have for visualizing our model. And now I would like to show a couple more things. First of all, a couple of options you have for the entire interface, which are found in the settings menu. For example, you can work with a white background or with a graded background. You have different options for visualizing your entire, applying sort of lighting and effects on your body. These are simply visual tools, and you can also switch on to a tessellated mode where you see the actual triangulation of all of your faces, or you can switch into hidden line mode. So now I can see the lines that are in the rear of my body, but I can also interact with them through the body. So I have selected that rear edge and shifted it around. Just wanted to take a moment to see if there are any questions that have been. Oh, okay. I see. There's a question. Yeah, we're supposed to keep this at 30 minutes, and I'm actually kind of running out of time, but that's fine. I think I covered most of the introductory stuff I wanted to. So there's a question about educational discounts. Yes, we offer, of course, educational licenses to educators and students of all levels. You will find this information on our website, and you can get a FI license for free for educational purposes. We are very happy to provide this, and we're delighted to see students and educators use FI and for their work, for research, and I think that's great. So let me just very quickly go over the list of things I wanted to cover today, and yeah, just one more thing I wanted to mention very fast is that you have an undo and redo button up there, obviously. Yeah, I think for a quick intro to FI. Oh, okay, another question, whether FI is a subdivision modeler. So that's a good question, and we also frequently have this discussion. The answer is no. So FI does not use the subdivision modeling infrastructure. It's based on a different type of mathematical infrastructure. So just to very quickly give explain this a little more. In subdivision modeling, you basically work with a cage, or a rectilinear cage, where you push and pull your edges, and the modeler interactively and automatically calculates a smoothened version of your cage. And that's a very fast and convenient way of working. It gives nice results, at least for relatively simple designs. It has some disadvantages, that you do not have exact control over your body shape. So you expect the system to give you a smoothened version, and you can control the amount of smoothness, but you cannot specify exactly where you want everything to be placed. FI has a different approach. FI is what we call a curve-based or edge-based modeler. So basically you work with your edges primarily. So you position and pull and segment your edges, and FI will calculate surfaces that are watertight, so they're exactly mathematically perfectly attached to your edges always, and are also calculated in a way that is natural and, let's say, as expected by the user. So no, strictly speaking, it's not a subdivision modeler. It can give the impression that it is, because we often work by doing extrusions of new volumes, so it kind of looks like we're creating, working in a sense similar to how you would work with a subdivision modeler, but it's a different technology behind it. Okay, I think that's good for today. We'll have another session this afternoon to cover the people who are currently probably asleep, and we'll have one each Wednesday. And as I said, today it was very simple and basic, just to get started, and we'll cover more interesting topics and entire designs in the next weeks. This will be, I think, this will be automatically saved on our YouTube channel, so you will find this there if you need to go back to it, if someone who didn't have a chance to see it wants to watch it later. And thank you all for participating, and I think that's it for today. So have a great day, and bye bye from me.